For generations, the villagers near Blackwood Forest spoke in hushed whispers about a creature that should not exist. They call it the Hollow One, a being with hollow eyes, a stitched grin, and a hunger for the living. It had once been a man, a powerful shaman who sought control over life and death. In his arrogance, he performed a ritual to summon spirits, hoping to gain immortality. But the ritual failed horribly. Instead of eternal life, the shaman became a prisoner in his own body, his soul twisted into something monstrous. Now, he roamed the woods, mimicking human voices, luring victims in and draining their life force until nothing remained. They said he could not be killed, but there was one way to stop him. If one could find the place where the shaman's bones rested and burn them, the curse would end. Yet no one who searched for the bones had ever returned. Ethan Parker, a wildlife photographer, had heard the stories but never believed them. One autumn evening, he ventured deep into Blackwood Forest, camera in hand, searching for the perfect shot. The forest was eerily silent, no birds, no rustling leaves. Then a voice.
"Ethan, help me."
His blood ran cold. The voice was familiar. It was his younger sister's voice, but that was impossible. Lena had died in a car crash years ago. His breath quickened. His mind screamed for him to run, but curiosity or something else pulled him forward. Then, between the trees, he saw it. A gaunt figure, taller than any human should be, its skin stretched tightly over its bones. Its mouth was stitched into a grin, and where its eyes should have been, there were only two deep black holes. But the worst part, it spoke in Lena's voice.
"Ethan, don't you miss me?"
The creature tilted its head, and in the blink of an eye, it was closer. Ethan's instincts kicked in. He turned and ran. The creature moved unnaturally, its jerky motions flickering in and out of the trees. It wasn't chasing him, it was playing with him. Then, through the panic, a memory surfaced. An old man at a roadside diner.
"You ever heard the tale of the Hollow One?"
The man had said, while stirring his coffee.
"If you ever see it, there's only one way to stop it. Burn the bones of the cursed shaman. That's the only way to break the cycle. They say his bones lie where the trees refuse to grow."
Ethan scanned the forest, heart hammering. Then he saw it. A clearing where the ground was barren, the trees twisted away as if repelled by something evil. At the center of the clearing sat a crumbling stone altar, overgrown with vines. Ethan ran toward it, tearing at the tangled roots. His fingers scraped against something hard and brittle. Bones. Not just any bones. Blackened, ancient remains resting in a ceremonial bowl. Markings on the altar, faint but clear, covered its surface. They weren't just symbols, they were wards meant to keep something trapped. This was the shaman's final resting place. A horrible shriek erupted behind him. The Hollow One knew what he had found. With shaking hands, Ethan grabbed his lighter. Flames licked the edges of the brittle bones. The creature screeched, its voice no longer mimicking Lena's. It was a tortured wail of rage, its hollow eyes filled with blue fire, its stitched grin tore apart, and its body convulsed violently. The air around Ethan grew heavy, as if the entire forest was watching. Then, with one final soul-ripping scream, the Hollow One collapsed into ash. Ethan staggered out of the forest as dawn broke. Shaken but alive, he never spoke of what happened. But at night, when the wind howled through the trees, he could still hear it. A faint whisper, carried on the wind, he could still hear it.
Ethan, don't you miss me?